Welcome to District 32, immersion, inspiration for ambitious business owners with big dreams.
Hello, my name is Lorraine of District 32 and I am excited today to speak with Darren Wedge of Oska Wellness. How are you, Darren?
I'm very good, thank you, Lorraine, and excited to be speaking with you as well.
Look, it's always very exciting. You know, we're in Perth. We're in one of the most remote countries and parts of the country in the whole world. But here we're sitting with yourself, and you've managed to take a relatively, well, not a new technology, but you've taken not a well-known technology and you've managed to distribute it all over the world during COVID, which we'll put a date stamp on this. But you've lived to tell the story and you're still getting over those hurdles. So I actually think this is an amazing story. You probably don't think of yourself as an international entrepreneur, do you, but Darren?
No, not really.
No.
I'm just going about doing a job, that's all.
Exactly. Well, this will be inspirational to all the other business owners who are listening. So Darren, tell me, first of all, Oska Wellness, what is it? What do you do? How did you get started?
Nice. Thank you for that, Lorraine. So Oska Wellness is a company that manufactures and distributes a pain management and improved healing device that uses pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. So technology has been around for a long time. We've just been able to shrink rather large, expensive devices into something the size of a mobile phone that's totally portable. You can use anywhere, anytime. And the technology was designed here in Western Australia. So I'm one of a number of people involved with it and founders. Michael Hawker here in Perth is the inventor. Mike was distributing an old version of a PMF device. I was involved in business consulting and coaching and asked to go and have a look at the business. And we quickly worked out that the future with that device, because of the arrogance, if we put it that way, of the manufacturer, was not long-term and would have left Mike and Shirley with nothing when they retired. So in 2013, we sat down and we decided that we wanted to look at all the technology around PMF, design something small, portable and affordable, and then take it to the USA. I had contacts there. The USA is a very, very large market compared to Australia. And we spent 2 years in the development stage. And then in early 2015, we went to America, found some local manufacturers, set up in Southern California, in a really beautiful part of the world. And so we would like to say manufactured in the USA, born in Australia.
Wow.
And that was the start of it. April, and believe it or not, the 1st of April, 2016. So we're coming up to our 6th anniversary. We actually commercialised the product.
Now, you said that in just a short space of time there, Darren, but let me backtrack just a little bit there. I hear many people talk about, oh, what if we just could do this and we could manufacture this device and we could solve that problem? A very, very, very minute number of people actually decide to take on invention, manufacturing, product development, testing, as well as introducing it to an international market. Can I ask you, what made you guys think you could?
We're crazy and we're nuts.
Yeah, that's what most people say. We were naive. Right? But I'm guessing you realised the enormity of what you were doing at the time and the challenge.
Yeah, so we know and knew what the science did. We also know that it can help, and I know this is a broad statement, but anyone in the world, but there are a lot of people that are stuck in a system, a medical system that is all about keeping them ill because that's where they make the money. We saw something that could make and improve people's lives and actually get them better. And I guess it's a bit of that Aussie gung-ho side of things, you know, and you said it, you know, we're the most remote part or city in the world. However, from Perth and from the rest of Australia, there's been some tremendous achievements and tremendous product services that have come out of our country that have been taken up in other parts of the world. So we thought we'd have a go.
Have a crack. Yeah.
Have a crack. That was it. It's been a very interesting journey.
Well, what I'm hearing there is initially, though, it was very purpose driven, right? So that purpose was you seen an opportunity here to actually make a difference to people and lives, which sometimes can sound cliche, but it's not. That was your driver.
That's correct, yeah, and that's been proven along the way. And we get people contacting us, whether it's by phone, email, or even on social media, saying that they didn't have any hope. We've had people that were unfortunately contemplating suicide because there was no hope and they were in so much pain, that have used our device and has totally changed the world.
Wow.
And when you get that each day, no matter what challenges you're going through, that's what gets you up every morning and gets you moving forward. And every business goes through challenges. There is no doubt. Anyone that thinks that you're going to start a business, you've got a concept or an idea, and you're going to make squillions, go back to bed, turn the light off, and keep dreaming.
Yep, and that's for any business, far less what you guys have accomplished. You know, you're from invention to where you are now, and that's how I want to dig a little bit deeper into, because the obstacles, the hurdles, and that you guys have had to overcome, because you know, I mean, you're this is mainstream now, but it's just letting everybody know it's mainstream technology. But to share with us some of the hurdles, and when I say hurdles, the achievements that you guys have actually managed to accomplish in the last few years. So share some of them with us, Darren.
So where do we start? One of the, I guess the biggest challenges, and it's really come to the forefront with COVID, is running a business where we've set up the office in a country that takes 24 hours door to door to get to the office, and trying to run it from here in Australia. So I'm located here. Our chairman, who is also our first investor, is located here. We're on the board, but the majority of our team is in the USA. So even with Zoom calls and the like, that still has challenges, because in a business, you still have to have that personal interaction. You know, whether it's catching up for a coffee, or, you know, going out after and getting to know each other better, or being able to walk into someone's office and talk about an issue. You find that difficult. And in the early days, we'd be up at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning on calls with both our team and external people in the USA. Then you'd be up again early in the morning to do your normal day.
Yeah, that's riddled with challenges, far less over the lack of sleep.
Exactly.
So is that still the case now then? Have you got any tips for people around that on how to cope or manage without those international offices?
It is. I will say, you know, Zoom calls like this are very, very good for it. Having those regular calls, setting up an environment where you've got and gathering people who you can trust to do the job when they don't have someone overseeing them on a regular basis. So we have a weekly call, and that will go for 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
And all the different issues and all the rest of it. Outside of that, we can be contacted at any time, but that makes a big difference. But also knowing and trusting the people to empower them to work and do the job they need to do, and then understand what that job is, that makes a big difference as well.
Okay. The challenges you don't expect. The daily ones.
Some of the other big challenges, Lorraine, is so we set up in the USA. When we got CETJ, we started setting up distributors in other countries around the world. So at the moment, we're in 9 other countries, and we've got another 5 that we're discussing distribution with at the moment.
Wow.
But they're all different from the people are different. The laws and the regulations are different. And in the USA in particular, every state is different. Wow. So we're in Southern California, totally different laws to where we manufacture in South Dakota.
Wow. So is that, I mean, do you have full-time people studying, what you can and can't do? And when you mean the different rules, is that around suppliers, or is it just that what's allowed medically, or who can sell it, or what do you mean by that when you say different rules for the country?
It comes down to the basics, what certificates you need to start and open the business. HR, huge difference, and totally different to what the HR system is here. Importation, exportation, and the big one is the medical regulatory approvals. They're a big area, and that alone. So how do we manage with it? We have a very small team, but we have a good team of external advisors, lawyers, accountants, and the like. And I'm a big believer that you get them involved, you find the right ones and get them involved from day one, and you spend the money on getting them involved, because I'll guarantee that time that you don't, it's going to cost you a lot more down the track.
Yeah. Okay.
So having good advisors that know what they know and are specialists in their area are a big advantage for any business and should be used.
Okay. And what about the branding and the IP side? Is that all different as well? Have you guys attempted to trademark your IP around the product, the technology, and the brand?
Yeah. So countries are different, but they also have I'll call it synchronized systems around it. So for instance, trademarks, there's WIPO, which is the World IP whatever organization. You can go to them and you can say, right, well, we want to trademark in these countries, and they'll do a global trademark to those countries.
Okay.
It still needs to be reviewed at that country level and either accepted or denied, or you're required to give more information. But that's an easier way, a more controlled way, but also a more cost-effective way than going to each country to do it.
Yeah, okay.
So knowing what that is. But from the regulatory perspective, from the medical side, so we have the FDA in the USA. We operate as a class 1 there, and we've done that for a specific reason. CE is totally different. That covers Europe. But a lot of countries through the Asia Pacific are also, if you have CE, that will fast track your regulatory approval there.
So what is CE, just for the listeners there, Darren?
It's basically just, so if you have an electrical device, you can get CE electrical approval saying it's safe to use.
Okay.
And we've been told most PMF devices in Europe are just CE electrical. Then there's CE medical. And we are a CE approved medical device. So we're one of the only ones that we've been told in Europe in the PMF field. So we're a designated medical device, but with that comes a lot of complexity around quality assurance and other areas, and just information management around your customers. It's a big, expensive field to be involved in.
But that's just massive. You brushed over there like, oh, we've got this approval and CE approval and that approval, but actually that's years in the making to get there. So well done. But that's obviously helping you enormously to get the brand out there and to get people, with the product.
Yeah. So just on that, Lorraine, you're spot on. It took us over 2 years to just get the CE approval.
Wow.
I won't talk about how much it cost.
Yeah. As you say, it just sounds expensive.
Yeah. Oh, it is expensive. But that's the other side of it too, is, again, it doesn't matter whether you're operating internationally or just here in Australia. You need to ensure that you're planning correctly for it, you're budgeting correctly for it, and that you've got the funds to not only run the business, but for changes, improvements, and you've got capital for expansion as well, because you can have the greatest idea in the world, But if you don't have enough of that, you'll end up stopping probably at the time when you're pretty close to a breakthrough.
Yeah, it could be very easy to run out of money.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Very
We were
easy.
told in the early days, especially in the medical industry, it's going to take you twice as long and twice as much money as what you think it is. It's taken us 3 times as long and probably 3 times as much money so far.
Add a couple of zeros. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So look, to get those approvals, to get international distribution, to actually invent a product, these are just mammoth achievements for any small team company to achieve. But you guys have also won some pretty prestigious awards along the way, Darren. Talk to us about talk to us about your most recent awards.
I guess the key ones were the MedTech Awards in 2017 and 2018. So that award is based out of California, but you have on average, I think it's 10,000 applications from 3,500 companies around the world, because there's all different categories. So it's very prestigious. So you've got the likes of Philips, Nike, Google, Amazon. They all put in for those awards. 2017, we won Internet of Things Best New Technology,
Wow.
which we thought was good, but other than a bit of awareness, it didn't really seem to do much.
Okay.
But the next year, we won Best New Technology in Pain Management.
Wow.
And that was a game changer, yeah. That opened us up to the medical industry, in particular in the USA. And instead of us having to go and knock on doors, we suddenly had the medical industry coming to us and asking about the device and what it was, and wanting to get involved with it.
That's just enormous for any business owner out there or inventor out there. Like the leverage that you then get in the transformation of effort is just, it's a game changer. As you said, that's the word you used there. How did that feel?
It was great. Yeah. It's one of those things. I've been on the other side of the world. I know the team in the USA were really excited with it because it was there, but you felt a bit not disassociated, but out of the loop with it. But it's exciting. But the other thing too is awards are awards, and they're great for that. But we're here to run a business. We're here to help people. Yeah. So our focus always comes back to that. What's the next thing we can do? How can we improve on what we need to do? How do we make it easier for potential customers out there, whether they're direct customers or the medical industry, to find us and put their hand up and say, yeah, I'm interested in it.
I think there's a couple of things there that I'm hearing you saying, yeah, we're always on to the next thing as business owners. Like, yep, tick. That's that one now. But we don't actually often take the time out to celebrate the wins, do we? And it's not until, a few years later, you're like, holy yes, we actually did that, because you're just running fast, running fast. Next thing. So these are massive achievements. Darren, to be up there with the big players, your Google and your Amazon, is even that is a big win. But look, ultimately that serves your purpose, right? Sorry, what were you going to say?
I guess the let's call them rewards that you don't hear and the public don't hear as much are probably more important for us. So where we have a distributor in the USA that deals in the medical side of the industry for us, they got Oska approved by the Department of Defense in the USA as an approved product.
Wow.
So that's huge. That's any of the active, both military and non-military staff. And right at the moment, and we're hoping this Friday, we're going to get the sign off to be an approved product with the VA. The VA is a huge area. These are people that have gone off to war, protected people back home, and are now back home with horrendous injuries and pain. We're already getting good results. but to get approved as a product there is enormous.
It's absolutely phenomenal, you know, what you've achieved. And that comes down to the drive and the determination of the business owners. You know, it's unbelievable, Darren. So I hope you do take time out sometimes to give yourself a pat on the back now and again.
Yeah, I think between 5 and my 11 o'clock calls at night.
Yeah. Between 2 and 2:45. Yeah. Darren, what's your I just want to wrap up here at the minute. What is your hardest lesson? The whole journey. What has been the hardest, sorest lesson?
The hardest lesson is to trust and believe people that were very close to you that didn't deliver on what they made themselves out to be. So,
Okay.
well, what that means is be very particular with the people you get involved with, whether they're friends, acquaintances, investors, or whatnot. Have a clear understanding of where you're going with the business and what you need from those people to fit in to get those end results. So we've had a number of people along the journey that came across as the right people, but when you dug deeper into the weeds, they weren't the right people.
Yeah,
and the old adage that I was taught a long time ago was take your time when hiring, but fire quickly.
And you're not just talking about employees there, we're talking about partners, investors. So do you do your due diligence on your team?
Yes, very much so. And if something smells wrong, it's wrong.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Trust your gut.
That's it.
Darren, thank you very much for sharing your journey with us. I think you're a phenomenal Western Australia success story, from invention to distribution to awards to regulatory approvals. And at the end of the day, as you say, you're out there changing the world, because actually, do you guys have a tagline? You know, Oska Wellness, there is hope. Because I just love that. You said that a few times and it really resonates with me. And I guess that's the larger message.
Yeah. Well, I guess our tagline at the moment, and it doesn't take all of it into it, but when pain stops, life begins. That's our tagline.
Beautiful.
But thank you for your kind words. We don't see ourselves as that. We're just a group of guys from Australia and a small team in the USA that just want to see people get better. And we're trying to do everything we can to get to that aim.
Darren, thank you very much. You're an inspiration. And I'm sure that listeners will have some learnings through your lessons, but also inspiration through your journey and your determination, and also living that, running that business of purpose.
Nice. Thank you,
Darren.
really
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for sharing your time.
Nice. Thanks, Lorraine.
Thanks, Darren. Bye. Bye.
You've been listening to District 32, immersion, inspiration for ambitious business owners with big dreams.